Okay, great. This is the official welcome for the video for those of you who will rewatch the lesson. And today we are supposed to be working on lesson number 2. Let me share the screen. Give me a second. I will start my presentation. This one. Okay. You can see it, right? You can see it well?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so today we will we will retake some of the ideas and the implications from the previous lesson, but the focus will be on prompt design and the pedagogical uses of artificial intelligence in the EFL classroom. So we've got like a long journey today. I don't think we will take up the full 3 hours, but probably we will finish a little earlier today, right? So to start, I just wanted to show you. I think this is intentional. In the previous module, this hand was the other way around, you know. But after you've seen this human touch that we can give to the lessons and our classes, I decided to turn it over so that we make use of AI and AI does not use us, right? So just to spark a little conversation, listen to this. I want you to watch this little video.
Hola, soy Clara.
Hola, Clara.
Estoy acá porque hace 6 meses que no puedo parar de usar el chat GPT. Cada vez me cuesta más pensar. Cuando venía para acá le pedí que me haga una imagen de cómo sería mi hijo con mi pareja. Ni siquiera tengo pareja.
¿Qué? ¿Ahora también se pueden crear imágenes?
Bueno. Gracias, Clara.
Yo el sábado tuve una recaída. Me dolió mucho la cabeza. Y le pregunté al chat si podía hacer una ACV.
Ana, recordá, un día a la vez. Burro.
Mira, la verdad, yo no tengo mucho para decir. Tampoco sé qué hago acá. Solo vine porque me lo recomendó ChatGPT.
Yo ayer googleé.
Muy bien, Ana. Yo escribí algo esta semana para ustedes. El peligro de ChatGPT es que nos dice todo lo que queremos escuchar. Confíen más en su intuición, trabajen en su creatividad. ¿Querés que te lo pase en versión más reducida para tus pacientes?
Okay. This is something that happens, right? Let me accept something. Do you feel identified at some point? Have you used it for some of these reasons? Andrea, I see you nodding.
Yeah, sometimes I ask too many questions. When I'm not sure about something. And then I feel like, okay, I'm not using my brain.
But
or maybe, I don't know, like when I have a question about some food, for example, or a recipe, or even when I have some symptoms, instead of going to a clinic and asking a doctor, I just, ask ChatGPT.
Okay, it's like the easy way out, to on our anxiety, right?
Maybe to calm down, that's right. And then, of course, I ask a professional if I have a serious doubt.
Okay, of course. It advises you. You should look for a professional in order to whatever you need at that point, right? Gabriela, how about you?
Yeah, it's the same case as Andrea. I think that it's clear that it's like an addiction. Of course, we can. I think that we can't name it in another way.
Compulsive,
Yes, and in the text and in the video that you presented in week 1, it was really clear that we should try to use it, of course, but as a tool, as a co-tutor or as a, I don't know, as a companion for us and our job.
as a
That,
scaffold, okay, a support,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes.
Yes, someone else was saying something?
I totally agree with Gabriela. I'm addicted to it. I don't know how to get rid of it. I use it for everything, every task, not only for work, but my daily life. Um, the first thing I do is, for example, I want to know the result of a match, and I ask ChatGPT. I don't use Google anymore, and
No.
no. The problem is that I'm trying different tools, let's say ChatGPT, Gemini, and then I compare with Cloud, and it becomes a tsunami, is something like this.
No,
Intoxication.
you get this feeling of being overwhelmed because you feel that everybody is doing something and that everybody's using AI, and we tend to underestimate ourselves when actually probably we are doing much better than we think, you know? It happened to me. I've been to a conference in Cordoba 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we had some discussions about AI with other teachers from different parts of the world. And many of them were beginning to become acquainted with some large language models, which shocked me because they come from, I mean, very prestigious universities, you know? But well, this is the time to dive into the world of AI and become literate. This is the concept that we discussed in the previous module. We discussed AI literacy and why it matters today, right? Okay. Does anyone else want to share his or her thoughts before we move on? I can see here Flavia, Marta, who else? Susana, Enrique, Norma.
I don't usually use ChatGPT frequently, perhaps for my tasks, for teaching something, but my nephew uses to use use uses it very frequently, but just as a sort of engaging in a conversation, like a therapy, as if it were a psychologist.
Okay, well, there are many uses we can give. Actually, this can become a therapeutic group, right? To talk about the many uses as I think Alejandro was his name. He was participating a moment ago, because we are beginning to develop a relationship, right? So if
Yeah.
the AI was a person, probably it could be an acquaintance. In your case, you rarely see, or that you
Yes,
just
I
take
understand.
advantage of from time to time. But for others, it has become a lover, right? From others, it's a grandma you ask money for. But
As in the
well,
film Elisa, as
as
in the
in,
film Elisa.
Yes,
the
and
film,
her.
the film
Yes,
her,
in
the
In
film
her.
her,
her.
Yes,
yes, Elisa in
yes,
her, yes,
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
I watched
Well,
it.
I've included the trailers as
Yes,
I
I
yes,
watched
uh,
it.
develop the
yes.
lessons, so that we would, if you watch it later, you will see how powerful the science
It was,
fiction is, because actually everything is beginning to come to light and become real, right? Okay, so we can move on then. If anyone else has anything else to say, I will share again the presentation and show you these are some of the attitudes that we have towards AI, right? Some of us resist the use of artificial intelligence because some people fear that it will take away our jobs, that we will lose our jobs or as teachers, and that AI will replace us. There are very interesting surveys online, and in some of the documents that I shared with you for the bibliography for this week, when we upload it after this lesson with Noelia, you will see that there is a report on 2,000 teachers, I think, and a third of them believe that AI will actually, let's say, take away their jobs, right? So this is one of the many reasons you can find for people resisting the adoption of AI. But other people accept, okay, and are already using, in general terms, I'm not talking about education yet, but because of these benefits, right? To increase productivity, to automate repetitive tasks, and for many other aspects of our lives and uses that were unthinkable in the past, but now we make use of them, right? So here I asked this question: who am I, with this play on words, meaning what is the position we will take with regards to artificial intelligence? Because we can have a passive attitude and be led by the nose, or we can begin to take action in order to have control over this technology, right? This is the way I like to think about it. I like to think of AI as, because you know that AI models and AI in general is fed by a lot of all the information that you can find online is what has fed AI throughout the years since the rise of the internet, right? So it is like having the greatest minds of all time at your own disposal, right? I've included here like Albert Einstein, Emily Dickinson, Socrates, Sigmund Freud, Shakespeare, because I think that you can resort to their ideas in order to create or do whatever you want. So it's like having a genius in your basement, at your own disposal, and being able to do whatever your imagination and your creativity tells you to do. So the limit somehow will be a limit of creativity and knowledge as well. So this is the way I like to think about artificial intelligence. So the right mindset would be my conclusion from these attitudes and the way I see artificial intelligence is that we should take the capabilities and the potential that artificial intelligence offers us so that we can use it to our own benefit and we can be productive and we can do things that probably in the past we did not have the time to do. And now, thanks to the potential and the dynamics of AI, we can make use of. And of course, monitoring and with our own pedagogical criteria, because we will always be there to supervise, to mediate, to facilitate the teaching and learning process, right? So that's why I wrote here domain expertise, prompt formulation, context provision. We are the one, as you read in the previous class, that will have this human eye and touch along the process, right? So should we integrate AI in education? How much should we integrate AI? Someone who has not participated yet. I will stop sharing to see you all because otherwise I see a single person.
I think that we should. I mean, it's maybe if we don't do it, I mean, maybe we'll lose, those jobs in the future because it's parts of a society.
Okay.
We have to know how much and what for. For example, I use it a lot for when I have to teach vocabulary. I say, okay, to maybe make list of questions for speaking. I mean, using that specific vocabulary and even with prompts for answering, and it's fantastic. My students love it because it's a vocabulary in context. And even I teach at university hotel administration and tourism, and it uses a specific context that is. And I can do it too, of course, but it takes me a lot of time to do it.
No, definitely. I've always wanted to create a podcast, a project for the second year at university, teaching English language too. And it was too time consuming. So one year I sat down and I started drafting the task and the rubric. And I said, no, I gave up a couple of years ago. But now I created this, I think, like in a full day, working hard, monitoring, revising, editing, checking, and working with my other colleagues. So the result, the outcome was very rewarding. So we can give feedback in a different way, and we can optimize things that probably in the past we were not able to do, not because we did not want to, but because with this teacher dynamic, it's very complicated to get things done, right? Like this one, which was an off-the-record project, you know? Okay, should we, well, sorry, Marto, you told me that your students love it. Are you teaching them how to use AI?
Yes, I provide. Now I am using a web page that I like a lot. That is Shadow in English. I don't know if you know it.
Shadow?
That you can Shadow, yeah. And I upload a video. You can upload a video. Like I have it here. If you
Okay.
if you
It is
want
not in
me
the
to, and
not in the glossary you included.
in the it's a you can upload a video from YouTube, for example. Now I'm working with making arrangements. Would you like? And so I upload a video that is from one of the books. I don't want to say the name of the book, but it's and I upload it to YouTube, and then I share the link, and it provides the video so that they can shadow every phrase. The times that they want, maybe 3 times or twice the time, and they can. And it's all AI, and it's fantastic
That's
because
great.
they can't do that.
Okay, and they can do it as many times as they want without the pressure of the teacher
Yeah,
side.
then you can set what you want, and you can upload a video that you want, and there are some videos there, and it's they can do it. They can say, okay, I sent you the video, and you repeat it.
Mhm.
There's no way that they can, and then nobody does it. So having that there, it's
Okay.
useful.
Okay, great. So let me see. And Enrique, now I see you here. Okay, are you using AI with your students?
Yes, I know. In the case, I just use it to create a text, like for example, about the match. Like for example, that was last Monday between Argentina and the other team. I think it was Algeria. So I gave them these activities with AI, of course, in order for them to read, to be in contact, and because I was trying to write like something, but it was hard. It was nice, but I tried with AI, and I think that it was like better, And I worked with the topics of grammar, for instance, passive voice and the present simple,
Is it
and
for
it
secondary
provided
school
it
students?
like a full text with the topics that I was like working in class, So it was like really useful in like that case.
Okay, great. Was it for secondary school students?
Yes,
Ah, okay, good,
yes.
good.
It
Because
was really fun. Yeah.
it is.
And also with all the pictures, so it was really, really good.
These are some of the advantages we will see today, and we will learn how to customize this. There is something very curious. Talking about fictions, we used movies in the past, but this is one of the authors uses this picture at the beginning of the book. This is by a French artist. I'm not good at French at all, not even for names. But this picture is from the early 1900s, and is the way the author imagined or portrayed the future of education, you know? So can we see some implications of artificial intelligence the way it has been developed now in this painting? What do you think? Anyone?
Now we have audiobooks, perhaps something such as audiobooks.
Okay, we have audiobooks, great. So here, like they are learning through listening only.
Yes, listen.
Apparently the artist couldn't get like or couldn't imagine like computer screens back then,
Yeah.
to see that they would also visually see something, right? Who else sees an implication here of AI in this picture?
I think we can make a close connection with the previous photo you showed us, with Einstein and Marie Curie, and all this information is introduced in the machine that is over there, and is all processed by a machine, and the results are received by the students.
Exactly.
To the meaning of listening.
You've got this student grinding all the knowledge into the machine, and probably the output is feeding the students, So
that's it.
This is what we said a moment ago, right? That whatever you can find online is whatever human beings have done for the past years.
Culture.
Sorry?
Culture. Our culture is
culture. Like we say artificial intelligence, but I don't know how artificial it is if it models human intelligence and it imitates human intelligence. So it's got a mathematical basis, of course, and it gives us like an illusion of intelligence. So we debunk this myth of AI actually thinking, but the neural system behind it is too complex for us to understand in simple terms, but well, it is about it. So what calls my attention is that a couple of years ago, and I'm saying a couple of years ago because the video I'm about to show you, it's a 5-minute video with a lot of implications for the use of AI in education and how much we should integrate AI, which is similar to this picture. This is like a fulfilled prophecy of what would happen in education. This is in China. I don't know whether you had the chance to see this, but imagine this is from 2023, if I'm not mistaken, or 2022. So imagine how developed the country is and what the policies they've implemented for AI. Let me show you. You can take notes if you want, right? So that we can discuss the little implications before we get into the following section of the lesson.
红色是表示你的专注力显示得很高。
Teachers at this primary school in China
蓝色是走神了。
know exactly when someone isn't paying attention.
白色就是你可能跟网络还没有连接好。
These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the teacher's computer and to parents. China has big plans to become a global leader in artificial intelligence. It has enabled a cashless economy where people make purchases with their faces. A giant network of surveillance cameras with facial recognition helps police monitor citizens. Meanwhile, some schools offer glimpses of what the future of high-tech education in the country might look like.
做出选择吧。Good job.
Classrooms have robots that analyze students' health and engagement levels. Students wear uniforms with chips that track their locations. There are even surveillance cameras that monitor how often students check their phones or yawn during classes. These gadgets have alarmed Chinese netizens. But schools say it wasn't hard for them getting parental consent to enroll kids into what is one of the world's largest experiments in AI education. A program that's supposed to boost students' grades while also feeding powerful algorithms.
为了就是国家的这个研究呀、发展呀，我觉得是没有问题的。
The government has poured billions of dollars into the project, bringing together tech giants, startups, and schools. We got exclusive access to a primary school a few hours outside of Shanghai.
同学们早上好。
To see firsthand how AI tech is being used in the classroom. For this 5th grade class, the day begins with putting on a brainwave sensing gadget. Students then practice meditating.
现在想象我们眉心有一点柔和的光芒绽放。
The device is made in China and has 3 electrodes, 2 behind the ears and 1 on the forehead. These sensors pick up electrical signals sent by neurons in the brain. The neural data is then sent in real time to the teacher's computer. So while students are solving math problems, a teacher can quickly find out who's paying attention and who's not.
说明这段时间他是有点在那走神的。
A report is then generated that shows how well the class was paying attention. It even details each student's concentration level at 10-minute intervals. It's then sent to a chat group for parents.
就是他可以看到每个人的评分。
The reports are detailed, but whether these devices really work and what they exactly measure isn't as clear. We were curious if the headbands could actually measure concentration, so one of our reporters tried on the device.
但我没有感觉自己特别集中。
This is a new technology with still fairly little research behind it.
Theodore Zanto is a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco. He was surprised to learn that this tech, called electroencephalography, also known as EEG, is being used in the classroom on children. It's usually used by doctors in hospitals and labs.
EEG is very susceptible to artifacts. And so if you are itchy or just a little fidgety, or the EEG wasn't set up properly so that the electrodes didn't have a good contact, affects the signal.
Despite the chances for false readings, teachers told us the headbands have forced students to become more disciplined.
上课回答我的问题，就是他们的声音会比平常更响亮。
Teachers say the students now pay better attention during class, and that has made them study harder and achieve higher scores.
上课认真听讲，作业做的基本上是全对的。
But not all students are as enthusiastic. This fifth grader, whom we caught dozing off in class, told us his parents punish him for low attention scores. And that kind of data adds a new kind of pressure for students.
想啊，如果在一次考试全班人都考了95分以上，就你考了一个85，你会不会感觉你有一种
Companies we interviewed said the data can go to government-funded research projects. We spoke to parents who were unclear about where the data ended up, and they didn't seem to care too much. Zanto says there's likely no privacy protection at all.
In a classroom, if you're trying to make an assessment of an individual student, you really can't anonymize it.
Experts and citizens alike are sounding alarms about various aspects of the country's huge push into artificial intelligence. These classrooms are laboratories for future generations. And while these new tools may potentially help some 200 million students raise their grades, just how this all works out won't be apparent until they become adult citizens.
Okay. What are your impressions on this?
This is like too much.
Yes,
It's like too
yes.
it's too integrated.
It feels overwhelming. Kind of remembers me to 1984 novel by George Orwell. Oh my God, like no privacy at all. Overwhelming data, sorry. I
But
feel
well,
like
they said, well, in the video, the interview, the reporter said that
They
the
are
parents
like prisoners.
they did not resist this project, and they seem to have this national feeling like, well, if it is for the sake of our country, if this is for research, for development, what's wrong with that, right?
yes.
Okay. Enrique, you wanted to say something? I see you've opened your mic, right? Okay. Flavia, I haven't heard of you today.
Yes, I was thinking it is too much and they look like robots.
Mhm. Imagine
Completely different to what I do.
exactly like the sense of freedom we give our students,
Yes.
but well, it's part of a national project as well, right? Aileen?
Yes, I agree with all the ideas. I also thought that there was no privacy in the classrooms, like the children and teachers are monitored all the time, so there's no like a freedom, or I don't know, like you can't, you don't feel free to give your class as you want, I think. I don't know.
No, like receiving the students' data, monitoring all the time, checking whether they are paying attention
Yes,
or
it's
not.
too
Even
much
their
work for the teachers too.
yes,
And
even their
sending
gestures, their
sending them
movements,
to their
that's
parents,
crazy.
Sorry, Javier?
sending the information to their parents.
Mhm.
One of the boys said that he was punished,
That he was
Yes,
punished,
yes.
yes, when he got low attention scores.
and they are kids.
Yes, they are
Yes.
kids, you know. But well, I think this has to do with the vision of a country, you know, and what they want to develop. And actually, in the report you are given as a bibliography for this lesson, you will see that China is the leading country in research, in implementation of AI. It's leading like by far, you know, it's like 87%, and the US is 24% behind. You know, there's a huge gap there, and they are the ones that are leading these, let's say, these technological changes. Actually, it says that what they do with this data is not clear. They can go to government-funded offices, so who knows? But it is Big Brother, actually. Listen, this was worse than a trailer of a movie we've watched, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, they did the same. At other levels, there was a little video again here, but I just want to move on, right? Because the following video, sorry, in the following slide, you've got a different video. I don't know why the order, I changed it, sorry. Sorry. There was a second video, this one, you see, this is at secondary school. Some of them keep the band. I don't know what changed at secondary school. And they've also tried to develop programs for senior citizens to learn how to handle AI, right? So this is the framework we will be working with, which is comprehensive. You know, oh, sorry. This is the framework. We are going to learn, as I said, when we learn about AI, we learn about the mechanisms behind AI, right? This is what we said in the previous lesson. So we learn about the history, we learned about neural networks, and today we will learn about the structure of prompts. That's why this lesson will also be about AI, because prompt engineering is like a subfield of this area, right? And we will learn with AI, because we will see how these prompt strategies will help us to use AI as tools or agents that support and boost our educational and pedagogical practices, right? So it becomes an aid for us. So, and for AI, this happens in the long run. I mean, when we learn about AI and when we learn with AI, eventually we become competent to move about in an environment that is designed to succeed or that is driven by AI. Okay? So here we have 5 reasons. I've included these 5 reasons why to integrate AI in education. First of all, because it becomes a problem-solving toolbox. You know, whenever you have a problem in a class, I mean, like trying to plan a lesson, if you have to come up with an exam tomorrow, if you need to read a makeup test, whatever you need to do as a teacher, and probably in your personal life as well, who knows, you can resort to AI models because they prove to be very efficient to solve problems. Secondly, because AI is a discipline that is cross-curricular, because it is everywhere in the education system. It is in primary, secondary, university level, in all courses and subjects. There's not an exception, you know. Even in philosophy, psychology, the humanities and hard sciences, natural sciences, you can apply the uses and the potential of AI, and it is interdisciplinary in that way as well. Then, because it fosters critical thinking, if you learn how to use it wisely, sometimes when you design an objective, you say, I want to create or to boost critical thinking in my students. So what dimensions of critical thinking we need to somehow dismantle critical thinking into its different components in order to see what aspect of critical thinking are we going to exploit, especially when we in next week learn about the ethical dilemmas that this type of technology poses, right? And then because it is a key future skill, as we said, if you don't get ready now, if you don't command AI at this point, eventually you will begin to fall behind. Actually, it will be like the internet. Now we think that the internet is a right that we cannot do without it. So in the near future, the same will happen with AI, right? And finally, because students already use it. And if they already use it, we need to take advantage of invisible learning. Remember, we saw that? So in this way, we can, let's say, improve the process. So these are like rough general AI uses for education leaders, educators, and students in general terms, okay? Just to give you a brief panorama of things you can do. Is there an education leader here? A coordinator, a director, I don't know, a head of department among us? Probably you coordinate, I don't know, a group of teachers. Is there one or not? No? Okay, good. So probably you're head of the office, because for education leaders, you can design proposals, newsletters, you can design programs, right? Or manage administrative circuits, like when you connect different apps and you automate a process. This is at a higher level of AI use, okay? And you can obtain document briefings, analyze and interpret data, compare and contrast performance. When you manage a group, usually coordinators or, well, I think, Noelia, are you a coordinator in a primary school, right?
Yes, I am. Mhm.
The English department. Well, so this will be for you, right?
Yes,
Where you
I'm very interesting. I'm trying many new things nowadays.
Okay, well, and actually this saves us a lot of time. I teach in the first year, and I've got like, I don't know, more than 100 students. So when we scan the text, we find patterns of common mistakes. Of the most common prepositional mistake, arrived to, for example, in some of the writings. We hadn't seen that, but when we put all the data together, the AI begins to identify patterns that otherwise, for us, I mean, it would have been impossible, right? And then for educators, this is what we will see today, right? How we can work or how we can exploit AI. And for the students, in the second part of the lesson, we have like different instructional materials that they can make use of, okay? So this is like a summary of we can create a list for each of these.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Martu wants to say something. She raised her hand.
Yes.
No, because when he asked, I interpreted talking about school, but we do that at the association, the Teachers Association in Rosario, for writing actas, and just to check, because we have to write something that should be, to check mistakes, and we use all those things too.
Okay.
That helps us, time savings.
Exactly, or when you conduct a survey and you collect the data to interpret the data and take further action.
Yes.
It is very useful, especially if there's a big volume and stuff, definitely. It would be great at a later stage to learn how to automate processes, and connect WhatsApp with your Gmail, answer automatic messages. This requires like a higher level of proficiency, but well, it is very helpful, right? So in this unit, we are supposed to work on chatbots. When we say, remember that when we say artificial intelligence, it is a very big field, and it has a lot of subfields. So in the context of this lesson and for our purposes, whenever I say AI, I mean generative AI, especially large language models. That's why we said chatbots as pedagogical tools, right? And there is also a concern with the use of the article, because we say the AI, but it's AI. It's AI because we mean discipline, a field. And then when you say the AI I use, well, we can modify, but these are things that are beginning to get regulated in the language, right? For example, the word prompt or prompting hasn't been included in Spanish by the Real Academia Española, for example, and it's been a couple of years on, right? So this is what we can do with chatbots, right? To foster creativity, to promote critical thinking, as I said a moment ago, to design personalized environments, right? Like for lesson plannings, to tailor needs, to address diversity, or to focus on individual feedback at different steps of the teaching and learning processes, and also as in administrative tasks, in the classroom, off classroom, after the lesson, in many other areas, and for exams and evaluation, right? So something else to consider is that when we use these chatbots, the tendency or the trend these days is to use active methodologies. And we need meta language, you know? When we instruct an AI model for something to be done, we need to know how to refer precisely to what we want, to a language theory, to an approach, to methodological tools, to the type of exercise, you know? Because otherwise we say, chat, create a vocabulary exercise for my B1 students. Well, would you like this exercise to be communicative, right? From which perspective? Would you like it to be a problem-solving activity, a task-based activity? So these are the characteristics of the methodologies that we should be using to engage this generation of learners, right? And also to consider something that we mentioned when we spoke about literacy in the previous module, that this is a journey in which we will, first, our students are aware, but then our students and ourselves as well, when we learn about AI, we become literate, and then we can develop competence, you know? So people who are beginning to learn about AI, in this case, I mentioned a multi-literacy pedagogy, because we need to read, not only text, but videos, analyze many implications in different formats and genres. So in order to become competent, you don't become competent overnight, but there is a journey from awareness through literacy until we become competent. So I've included a definition of multi-literacies by the New London Group. Okay, it says a multi-literacy pedagogy accepts and encourages a wide range of linguistic, cultural, communicative, and technological perspectives and tools being used to help students better prepare for a rapidly changing globalized world. I love these verbs, accepts and encourages, because sometimes we do not accept what the students bring with them, you know? Sometimes we resist what is new, what is different, and if we do not accept that we don't know, and that we also need to learn, because now as teachers we are in a completely different position than our previous teachers, then we won't make a difference, right? So,
hola, muy buenas.
Listen, so I wanted to show you, just to begin with today's topic on prompt engineering. This is like a bland definition, you know, an instruction or question given to the AI model to request a response or action, right? And when you say prompt engineering, it sounds too technical, but this is a little video I found funny. It's a TikTok, actually. It's on Facebook as well.
Hola.
It says las preguntas que tiene que aguantar Google, right? This is how we used to, at least I feel identified in some point, the way I instructed this engine.
Muy buenas, ¿te puedo ayudar? ¿Por qué precios caros? Sí, los precios han subido por diversos motivos. Uno de ellos es la inflación, pero también tiene que ver... ¿Inflación qué es? La inflación es el aumento de los precios de los bienes y servicios que... Lagarto grande. ¿Es un dragón de Komodo? No, lagarto grande, pinchos, espalda. ¿Es una iguana? No, lagarto grande, monstruo, película. ¿Es Godzilla? Sí, eres un bicho grande, monstruo, sí, güey. ¿De Komodo? King Kong. Ese.
Okay, so this is like how many of us used to relate, right?
Hola, muy buenas.
To Google in this case, right? But how about your experience as a prompt designer? Andrea, I see you here with your camera on.
Terrible.
Why?
That is the reason, that was one of the main reasons I wanted to do this diplomatura. And now this second module that is dealing with prompt, I say, okay, I want to learn this. I say terrible because I have a problem. You mentioned one example, create activities for B1 students, and I have that problem. I am not as specific as I should be, so that you know that I was thinking about we write a prompt for the AI to gives us possible activities to present students, but I also think that result is a prompt for us and a guideline, so that makes us think about other alternatives of activities and how to present it if they if that is what
you mean the output you get?
The output we get from the AI, I think it also serves as a prompt for us in order to prepare something that caters for the students' needs. That's how I also see the output we get. But
Yes, because it is an iterative, let's say, practice by means of which we get to feed, on the original prompt, right? So
That's
the
right.
more the more you practice, the more, let's say, you will become proficient in prompt engineering. When we say prompt engineering, as I said a moment ago, it sounds too technical and you feel like a nerd, but it's actually an instruction, right? It is an instruction. Valeria, how about you?
Well,
designing prompts?
Yes, I have learned to ask Gemini or ChatGPT prompts to use in other AI platforms, such as to design images or videos or anything. So I rely on that. I used
Okay.
to, before I follow this set of rules that you have to ask to the chat or Gemini, where you have to say where are you set for you give I'm sorry, you specify a role, an action, the audience, and etc. But now I just rely on asking the ChatGPT or Gemini to provide the proper prompt.
The proper prompt. And what instruction do you give it to give you a prompt, a proper prompt? You explain the situation, or because
Yes.
explaining the situation is a prompt.
Yes,
All
also
the same.
that I try to do it the most in the most specific, to be more specific as I can, and I use this set of rules that I said before.
That you have like rules for prompt efficiency.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, who else? Let me see. Someone who hasn't spoken.
In my case, sorry.
Yes.
In my case, I try to use the age of my students, the age, the level of English, and also the kind of school, if it's like a technical school, a state school or not. And I also include the things that I consider that they need to like focus on,
Okay, like the objective.
Yeah. But it's something that I learned because at the beginning I used to write like a simple prompt, and it was like the answer or the feedback was not like something good. So I tried to say, yes, you have to consider that it should be for students whose age are like 17, 18, whose ages are okay or is, and and it came up with like something better. But it is something that you're always like learning, yeah, alone, yeah.
Exactly. Well, the more you explore the AI tools, the more feedback you get on what it interprets, you know? But well, okay, Natalia?
Well, okay. I'm still using AI to play. I'm still using it. I'm still learning how to prompt it. I don't think I use a very technical vocabulary to ask AI for things. I just talk to it and see what it can do. I use it to play and to solve small problems. So my prompts are not as technical, I think. Maybe I need to learn to be more specific when I ask for something so it can respond better. But I'm still not so technical about it.
Okay.
Because it is still just a game for me.
Exactly. Well, it depends on the use you decide to give it, you know? Like, I've learned that the more technical you become, the more professional the answer will be, you know, because it is fed on technical words like papers and whatever research and material it can be found online. This is what it fits on. So if you, I don't know, I get students ready to take the TOEFL test. So it gives me very accurate TOEFL-like answers, you know. But well, it was practice, and it took time until you become familiar with the way in which you can ask the AI, right? But well,
Since I'm not yet so proficient at it, it takes me a lot of time to get what I want. Sometimes I just use it to solve like quick problems I have at work when I need a quick activity or something. But it still takes me a lot of time for it to answer what I want.
Okay.
It's too time consuming still for me.
Okay, no problem. Listen, because what I told you is the question I asked you, let's say, how about your experience designing prompts? And we said that a prompt is an instruction, you know, you give. And I think that as teachers, you have a lot of experience designing instructions, right? You are already a prompt designer undercover, probably you didn't know, right? But somehow, knowingly or unknowingly, you have been crafting instructions for your students in an exam, for example, or for homework, or when you created a unit or something, you have to create like, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 prompts per unit or per lesson, probably, right? So we've got this tendency, we see prompt engineering and we see this as something that is foreign and we want to keep ourselves aloof from this, but this is something that we have done for the past, at least in my case, 20 years, you know? So if we consider, give me a second, I want to see what comes next to share the screen. Okay, we are going to take these areas, right? Now we will get into prompt engineering itself, but I want you, I think Noelia is over there, right?
Yes, I am. I am at home with my kids around. I'm sorry, that's why I'm coming and going, but I'm still here listening.
No problem. My family is kidnapped in the basement, you know? So it's like all of them. Listen. Well, so now I am going to show you like different types, I mean, different areas in which we can work with prompts, right? We will see planning, assessment, instructional materials, as I anticipated at the beginning of the lesson, research and student use, okay? Research and student use. We are going to skip research. I wanted to include this here so that you know that we can, that there is like a specific type of format for research, but we are going to focus on the other four, right? We will divide you into groups, but before this, consider this. I will change the view to see you all like not in a gallery view. Listen, if we consider writing, who is teaching writing this very moment? Who is working on writing, is closing a unit, or who has recently worked with writing?
Well, I've been preparing some students for IELTS, so I usually give them writing tasks as homework, and then I correct them and I give them some feedback how to improve it. But I'm not dealing with writing itself during the lessons. Maybe just like the structure or something like that, but usually they work on writing as homework.
Okay, because this is like a very rigid exam format, and the tasks, the instructions are very clear and limited to what the exam looks for, right? But probably as teachers, we have the freedom to design something that is authentic and to provide context for the tasks our students want to do, right? So if I say, for example, I don't know, write an email to a friend, how can you enlarge on that? Enrique mentioned something a moment ago.
Well, of course, the level, maybe the level, the age, what the outcome you expect, what outcomes you expect.
The context,
the context,
the topic,
the type of school.
the topic. For example, if you are dealing with sports or I don't know, money or whatever.
Okay, so write an email to a friend about, and then you introduce the topic.
That's it.
Okay, about your last visit or your last holiday, right? So when we give an instruction to a student, we don't need to ask him or her to behave in a given way, but the student can pretend to be like, I don't know, you are a YouTube influencer, right? Write an email to your mom telling her about, and then you can elaborate a context for that, right? So here, let me show you. Okay, I want to share, like Gabriela mentioned at the beginning of the lesson. She mentioned, like a structure, to create prompts, like a formula, right? Do you know any formula, Joe? Joy? How should I call you?
No, I don't know any formula, but I try to put into account the criteria you just mentioned, like the age of the student, the level, the objectives of the activity, but I don't have like a very some kind of recipe.
You don't have a set guidelines, right? Okay, for that. Okay, great. Who's got one, or who can share one if you got one before we get into it? Probably you found something somewhere, like context. You mentioned context, right? No? So let me show you.
Well, you can provide a role, a context, and a task. Those are the things that I focus on. And a format, a specific format as well.
Okay, so listen. So you have RCTF, like role, context, task, and format.
And format, yes.
Format. Great, it works very well. This is very effective. So you tell the AI how to behave, what the context of the teaching environment is, what the task should be, like an activity, an exercise, a lesson plan, a unit plan, and what format you want. Okay, and what are the results, Valeria, you get with that?
I usually have to complete with another specific things, so it can provide me what I want.
Okay, great. So you need to do some polishing after that.
Yes, polishing, yes.
Okay, listen here, right? I've got an approach which is called parts. This is a mnemotechnic for you to remember, parts, right? And this material has been adapted for the Google for Education teaching program, right? So to break it down, you think of this word, parts, and you will remember. This is persona, act, recipient would be the audience, theme, and structure, right? So this would be like in colors, you have the different let's say, syntax, right, or components of the prompt. It says, listen, you are a certified ESL instructor. This is the role. Write a comprehensive, communicative 60-minute lesson plan. It says purple, but it is blue here, right? And you've got the approach, communicative, right? 60-minute lesson plan. Tailor the lesson for adult intermediate learners, B2. This is in yellow, so you've got there the sense of audience or recipients or target. The central theme, this is what Alejandro mentioned, is comparing cities, and here you've got the grammatical component, using comparative and superlative adjectives, right? So this is in green. This is the theme, comparing cities with comparative and superlative adjectives, and structure the lesson with a presentation, practice, production framework. Here we've got this pedagogy touch, right? Including a pair work debate and collect a written review exit ticket. This is what is in blue, right? So whatever task, or I don't mean whatever, but if you feel like you have to do something with an LLM, with a large language model, you can use this in these 5 dimensions that I showed you a moment ago, right? With planning, assessment, instructional material. We could also include research and differentiation, and with the student use, right? How do you find this prompt? Is it similar to what you do?
Yes, I was really attentive, because I actually, when I provide the AI, the prompt, I do exactly that. But in my opinion, I will add, because that's something I do. I was on my phone looking for a prompt that I used recently. I also provide AI the background of the students. Take into account that these students, didn't have English for 2 months, or that, the previous knowledge.
Okay.
Yes, and when I do that, AI, I think that I help the AI to improve the answer in order to give me some more specific input and activities.
Okay, so here what Valeria mentioned as role, we have as persona, right? And you can write PC, like for persona and context, or for the recipient, in the recipient section, you can have like the details of the students that are going to work with. So you can, in your notes, we will upload this presentation on Moodle when we allow you the tab, right? Access to the tab. And also consider that the AI misses a lot of cultural components. So you need to include some, let's say, cultural elements, right? Describing some cultural elements, especially if it's, I don't know, for a reading passage on the characteristics of the north of Argentina, include typical foods, regional features, and whatever, so that you don't get like a standard bland text, in this case, if we discuss reading, right? Okay.
And
Yes.
and depending on the type of activity I want to design, or I want AI to design, I usually include the tone, because sometimes it is too formal, or I don't know, I want it to be funnier or more informal, friendlier. So I usually include that as well.
Okay, and in which of these 5 axes would you include the tone?
In recipient, maybe?
Well, but
Or in the act.
Or in persona? In persona?
Or in the act, maybe.
Thinking about the
Yes,
act.
we have many opinions.
No, but I mean, I think there is some degree of flexibility for this.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
Because if it is clear, if the task, for example, if the task is, I don't know, to write a blog on a teenage magazine, probably the tone is like obvious, and it will write something semi-formal or informal if you want, you know. But if you don't make it clear, probably you will struggle with the register of the output, you know. And to make it clear is much better. What I started doing is like what I did with writing, you know. when I grade essays from my students at university, I have like a bank of comments, from which I copy and paste some of them because it takes too much time to say the same, right? So the same you will do with this. You will draft a document in which the prompts that are useful for you, you begin to categorize, So with this prompt for listening practice, I created this dialogue. This prompt was very effective. So on the listening tab of your Google Doc document, you will have all the let's say like a bank of prompts for listening, for example, right? But it's great that you added the tone, and then you mentioned also, Gabriela, what did you mention?
Previous knowledge,
The
background of the
context.
students. Yes.
Exactly. This is what Enrique also mentioned when he said that if it is a technical school, apart from the age and the level,
Yes.
okay, objectives, right?
Mhm.
Good. And someone else activated their mic a moment ago? No? Okay. So listen, in the second, let us see the planning. Let us see planning. Give me a second. Here, I've got how to design. This is what we just were doing a moment ago with the email. It says, give me some lesson ideas for a first year secondary English class. It's too vague. Suggest 3 activities to teach first year secondary English students how to use comparatives. This is what we usually do when we don't know how to use AI. When we are beginning to delve into the waters of AI, we want activities, we include the type of students and the what, but we forget, look how much you can improve this. Act as an experienced EFL curriculum designer for a first year secondary English teacher. The class is introducing students to comparative and superlative adjectives in the context of comparing different types of vacation destinations. Suggest 3 lessons formats: a guided reading activity with simplified city description, a communicative role play comparing 2 countries, and a peer-reviewed poster project. You see? So you've got a full overview of what you can do in a sequence, in a lesson, or in a unit, if you want, depending on how much time you've got a week. So you can say, well, this week we should focus on comparative and superlative. So design a series of 60-minute lessons for a week on the topic of, and then you introduce the rest, and you will get like very good results, But this is like more technical. This is what Natalia said. Probably I'm not that technical, but this is like a little bit more technical with communicative role play, peer-reviewed poster project, guided reading activity. So these are the chunks that we need to learn in order to effectively prompt the AI, right? And this is for planning, right? Listen, yes. I've seen.
Okay, well, we wait for Luis to solve his technical issue. What I do with the prompts is I write a draft one. I like brainstorm my ideas, maybe not ordered at all. And then I ask the chat to improve the prompt to get the best result possible. And that really, really improved what I get, because it orders and details every part of the prompt, especially if I need a picture or I need a text. So it gets really better than what I've probably got if I just texted or I just entered my raw version. So try that and use that improved prompt from the beginning. So that's what I'm doing now. And I get really, really good results from the first version that gets that's really great. And sometimes I try with different chats at the same time, and I compare the different results with that very detailed prompt, because details everything, and it's backs it up, explain why it is better, what are the improvements that the chat has developed in the prompt. So try that trick. It's working very well for me. I don't know if you have tried doing that. Have you tried doing that? Helping the chat, helping the AI to improve your prompt? Yes, okay.
Okay, great. Listen, I don't know what happened, but my camera and my mic went off. I don't know. I think somebody entered. I got a pop-up on the screen, and then it went like blank. I was talking to no one because my mic and camera was off. But listen, it's been an hour and a half. You've got a lot of input. We are going to take a break, right? A little break, a 15-minute break. Noelia will do, right? So
Yes.
you can turn off your cameras, your microphone, and we will come back to finish revising the prompts. We will give you this presentation, and then we will work in groups with a little coffee, with some chocolate. Okay, something sugary to motivate us. Okay, the meeting is still recorded, right, Noe? Still being recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't
Great.
stop it.
Okay, great. Well, I hope everyone is back. I'm going to keep on sharing then again so that we see what, I don't know at what point I stopped, but this is what I was, what I showed you a moment ago. I said that this was vague, that this was much better, and this has more technical vocabulary. And this is something that, let's say, we will have to build ourselves. The knowledge you have of pedagogy and all the methodologies and language theories and technical vocabulary is something that you build up with experience and in time. And therefore, I would advise you to, as I said a moment ago, learn these chunks that will help you, let's say, improve your prompt. At the same time, when you finish writing the prompt, this is what Noelia said a moment ago, you can say, revise this prompt for me, okay, and improve it and make comments on it. So it can actually give you an insight into what you do, right? So as to planning, here you have a very, let's say, thought out prompt on how to generate lesson ideas, right? As I said, this material has been adapted from the Google for Education teaching program. It says you are an experienced DFA teacher, you got the role there. Design a 5-day project-based unit sequence. Okay, this is a good chunk to learn. A number of day project-based unit sequence titled Digital Literacy and Online Trends for Students at a B1 plus intermediate proficiency level. It is great if you have the common European framework of reference at hand, and you revise the objectives for each of the skills, so that you know what learning objective you're pursuing at this level. Because probably you say, I don't know, I want my students to analyze, and well, if this is an A2 level, probably they won't be able to analyze. Probably they can describe, they can compare, they can do, or they can perform some cognitive functions proper to their own proficiency level of the language. So I think we got this document with all the specifications of what the learning goals are for the different skills, for listening, for reading, for writing, and for speaking. So you check that what you are pursuing actually bears a relationship, a pedagogical relationship with the level of your students, right? It says align each day's language objectives, grammar, vocabulary, and functions to the Common European Framework standard descriptors. Include a balanced mix of task-based learning, communicative group work, and integrated skills practice, reading, speaking, writing. So you see that this design is communicative because it includes and integrates all the skills. Use a real-world social issue or case study like a specific viral campaign or an online debate as the anchoring context that the students can return to as they deepen their language skills. Okay, so this is to create, the keyword here is a project-based unit sequence. It won't create all the activities, you know, it is creating the sequence. Then you can further and improve the prompt, just not for planning, but for activity design or instructional material to develop those activities, right? But here we're just going overall from the most general, planning a lesson, right? Sorry, a unit, a lesson, and then the activities or the tasks, right? This is a tip I've included. Ask Gemini to generate a specific phrase banks, like language for expressing opinions, agreeing, disagreeing. This is what we know as functions, right? So you can have a functional bank with phrases. I think Marta told us something similar, you know, when creating or using AI in her classroom a moment ago. A targeted vocabulary list with definitions, and check, like a role play prompt, for day 3 and 5. Okay, so this is something extra with the dimension of, because functions go across the skills. So depending on the type of skills that this model gives you, you will check the functions. And it's great for integrating content and language objectives, the structured grammar vocabulary introduction with differentiated skills practice, and for intentional pacing from language input to communicative output, right? Because this is a whole sequence. I don't know whether you were able to write such a complex prompt before, but in due course, you will eventually do so. Okay, I've included many other examples here. Look, you have different, let's say, planning aspects, right? Here you have, for example, for teacher professional development, for interdisciplinary planning, in bilingual schools where English is taught, where some courses are taught in English, like biology in English, for example, you can use this, right? It says, you are an EFL-led cross-curricular planning partner. Develop a 2-day project for 8th graders combining climate change science and collaborative storytelling, requiring students to create a narrative about a local environmental challenge. So Gemini, okay, you can recommend language scaffolds and collaborative discussion prompts, and you can be creative with, let's say, the context of the project to tailor this to the students, right? So here I've included, then you will read this in detail. I'm not going to stop in each of them, but the idea is that you can see how to exploit here. Look, this is a lesson, then a unit, then a syllabus, and then outside your classroom, within the context of the school curriculum, okay? This go from, let's say, specific to general use when it comes to planning, right? Have you used AI to plan for lesson plans, for syllabus design, for curriculum design as well? Or just for exercises at a micro level? Anyone? I want to see you. No? You just use it for exercises and for lessons, but not for an overall picture. When you begin the year, you don't use it to plan ahead like a big picture of your year.
Mister, I use it to plan.
Okay.
From kinder lessons to high school. I wasn't used to it, and in the second class, I think with you, I downloaded ChatGPT. I was trying to avoid it, and then I discovered it is really useful. It's a great tool, and I ask for lessons, and then I change, or I have to see the suggestions. Of course, we need time to see if what they give us is useful and according to our class, the group.
Okay, this is a factor that will never be missing, you know, your critical eye and based on your experience, because you can have all the theory, but probably the theory does not stick to the reality of your class or the group dynamic. So you will have to make all the necessary adjustments for that. But sometimes the school gives you like a master plan, let's say, for you to stick to, and you can adapt this to the needs of the group. Because this is a problem sometimes we have. We get like a standardized syllabus or lesson plan, or let's say stakeholders from different schools say, well, this is what we want. But you can adapt that. Even if you adopt a book, you can combine both the planning the school wants, the book you have to work in class, and make like a let's say cross line activity with both of them, and you come out with something that is tailored for you as a teacher. This is what we will hopefully do, how to create a gem by the end of this lesson. Yes.
I've used it too for creating the criterios de evaluación, the chart, and it's very good. I mean, it's very interesting.
Sorry?
Criterios de evaluación, I mean, for the whole year. I mean, it's what they need. I mean, maybe, I don't know, what's the thing, speaking in class or homework or whatever. And I create a very nice chart, very interesting for them.
And definitely, because they can check and they know, okay, what the teacher expects from them beforehand. And doing this like in the old style is too time consuming. So whatever task you are given, a rubric should be included for that, right? So
I use it for lesson plans. I
You
use
use it-
it for lesson plans
Okay.
to give me general objectives, particular objectives, practice, I mean, exercises, evaluation, expected
And-
outcomes.
Great. And what has been
It
your
was
experience?
very useful, very time saving.
Okay. Do you work with the syllabus you designed?
Yes,
Okay. Well, that's great. That with the
for
syllabus
secondary school.
for secondary school. Okay.
Yes.
What is more, you can upload some of the Ministry of Education guidelines.
Yes.
Upload them to the chat, and then as you create the lessons, it will stick to the guidelines that.
That's interesting. Yes, you're right.
This is
To
you can
include in the ChatGPT as a PDF of the book. Yes,
exactly,
from the
and you
book,
will
perhaps.
and you will get not a completely different result, but a more tailored one to what in this case, because different provinces have different policies.
Yes.
So if you
Yes.
upload one from Tucumán and one from Argentina, you will
Mhm.
get like a much accurate response, right?
Yes. Thanks.
I have just created during the recess. I needed a plan for Notting Hill, the film. Probably you are too young. I don't know if you know the film Notting Hill.
Yes,
And
I
I
am.
couldn't find one that I liked. And I did it with Claude, and it's amazing, really.
Well,
And this
Claude.
has to do with lesson plan, no, not what you were talking.
Okay, no, but here you have different examples of different levels, like a unit, a lesson, exercises. So in this, we don't have a written lesson for this class because it's supposed to be more hands-on. So the presentation will serve as a class, and the bibliography you have for this lesson is very clear, so there's not much to transform, but through this presentation, you will get more an insight in what we expect to do, right? So that is as to lesson planning. Then, as to assessment, this is what Marta was saying, that she was designing assessment criteria. A very interesting use you can resort to is differentiate an existing assessment. So probably you've got a test already, and you want to differentiate this test for, I don't know, a makeup test, for example, or for the following year because you have already used it the year, I don't know, the previous year you used it already, so you want to do it again. You've got the role. Here, sorry, mind the different roles. You are an EFL curriculum designer. You are an EFL unit planner, an EFL course designer, a cross-curricular planning partner, a professional development designer for an instructional coach, okay, an EFL tech integration lead, right? So you can think of as many roles as you want, but if you engage in a chat, then it will keep the role. So you do this once, and then you keep on interacting with the different outcomes, right? So in this one, look, it says you're an EFL instructor teaching intermediate level students. Rewrite a unit test, this unit test that we usually download from the books from the materials we are given, on verb tenses, specifically the past tenses using the same grammar points, vocabulary level, and number of questions. Adjust the wording and format to provide new practice opportunities for students who need an alternative version. So you upload exam, or the test or whatever you use to evaluate your students. You copy and paste this prompt in case this was about verb tenses and the past, right? And then you will get a new version with the same objectives, vocabulary level, and outcomes, but you don't have to redesign the text again or create new exercises on your own again. So you can mention if you want specific question types, and this is when what I said that we should know, let's say meta language or a technical language. It says multiple choice, gap fill, sentence reordering, keyword transformation, close, open close, see test type of exercise. So we need to be familiar with all the vocabulary type of exercises, because then it says a vocabulary exercise. We should be precise as to what type of vocabulary exercise. It's not the same a vocabulary exercise for the students to revise than to learn, you see, or to practice for an exam. So, or paste a sample question to match the desired language level and rigor. Don't forget to upload exam, and you can differentiate assessments for makeups, accommodations, or review. You can differentiate lessons as well. So I took the example of exams because we use them, every year and with different groups. So probably students that take the course again, in my case at university level, they are too many, so I need a new version. So this is great to do, right? And here I've included many other cases in which you can use prompts for assessing, right? You are a B2 level EFL instructor, an EFL coordinator, because remember that we said that we use this for educator leaders, right? Educators or students. So this will be for an educator leader, You are an advanced EFL teacher for university prep students. Design a case-based assessment that asks students to analyze cultural misunderstandings in a diverse business setting. This is very, let's say, precise. I've done this, but the functions, I tried this prompt, in Gemini, and the functions for an advanced level in the Common European Framework, are very high cognitively speaking. So these nuances of the language and culture is something that they can do at these levels only, right? Then speaking rubric co-design, you are a co-designer for an advanced level EFL speaking rubric. Create a rubric for a multimodal presentation task. We did this in the second year at university when they created a multimodal presentation on a novel. Students will debate global issue resolutions. Include criteria for research quality, persuasive language use, collaborative skill, non-verbal communication, and reflection. Make criteria clear enough for learner self-assessment and peer review, right? And then you can see the rest when you revise the presentation, okay? Then, as to instructional material, does anyone want to say something at this point? Or have you got a question as to assessment? I use it a lot to make classroom-based exams. Whatever I do in the classroom, I try to evaluate in the exam so that the students feel that it's worth attending the lessons, So on my notes on the lessons, I usually use this as input to feed the AI model so that it would adapt whatever we revised in lesson, even the topics, if the students start talking about, I don't know, a conflict in the US, and this is a very lively and engaging discussion, I try to use this to adapt it to the reading, for example, if this is within the topics of the units that we've covered. So it's very useful in this case. Instructional material, this is more student-oriented. This is for the students to practice. I've included this on pronunciation. You can try this prompt in Gemini or in any other language model and compare it. You can try with Claude if you want to see how it will answer. You are an English as a foreign language teacher. Create a student-facing pronunciation guide. It says a student-facing pronunciation guide for difficult TH sounds that includes minimal pairs, audio recording exercises, tongue placement diagrams, and a space for practice notes. This is too comprehensive. And perhaps what Flavia said, no, it was not Flavia. I don't remember who it was, sorry. But when you see the output, you realize there is much more to be done. And therefore you feed on a second trial. Because I'm not a phonetician, but I wouldn't ever have come up with a prompt like this. After many trials, you can get to do something like this. It says, ask Gemini to provide an appendix with example sentences for context and an audio file version of the minimal pairs, right? Not all language models produce text, right? But you can have a script, or you can try with 11 Labs or other AI model that provides audio, sorry. This is great to create tailored interactive pronunciation guides, right? And you can embed the result of Gemini in a platform, right? So this is useful as well. Here you have many other examples of instructional material for students to practice, right? This is a paragraph structure, handout creation, authentic audio transcript, role play conversation, and then, well, the administrative tasks that we can have as teachers, right? It's a coordination of multi-school or multi-level teacher commitments. This prompt is thought for someone who works at different institutions and need like a master plan with deadlines, with different responsibilities. And so I included this for you to use it if you feel like it with your own information. It says you're an EFL teacher. It instructs the AI as an EFL teacher, but you can say, I am an EFL teacher, and I teach at different levels. Create a comprehensive administrative schedule and task list to manage my commitments for the next term. And you include what you have to do, and it will give you a nice template with deadlines, and you can integrate that into an app, right? And this is the second use I told you. The second dimension for student use. With instructional materials, and this one in particular, we will see different roles that the AI can perform. Remember that, well, in the bibliography, you have a text by Molik. And Molik, in this text, let's say, outlines 7 different roles that AI in general can perform. Let me show you. Let me show you this one, right? You have 7 AI approaches so that students use, okay? This is, you've got very long prompts in the bibliography. And as he explains the different roles, he gives you like different screenshots of the prompts, right? This is like the most basic one and what we use the AI for as a tool to accomplish a task, okay? And the idea is to optimize the time and efficiency of what we are doing. So the students and teachers alike can use it as a tool. Then you can use, or students can use the AI as a simulator, right? It means that it includes deliberate practice when, for example, you do role play. So you say, imagine you are, I don't know, an exchange friend I met last year. We are at a cafe in France and engaging in a conversation about our last holiday. So the AI will simulate a conversation based on this role you give it, and then you can interact. Okay, so it can simulate whatever you ask. The idea is that this is seen from the student's perspective, so that the students practice, right? So imagine you are a difficult customer at a restaurant, at a fancy restaurant, okay? And then it will simulate, right? The role is giving a role of a simulator. Then you can use the AI as a student. This is another role. This is when you instruct the AI, you use the AI as a student. So you pretend that you are the teacher, you explain the AI content, you can speak to the AI, and whatever you need to learn, you explain, and the AI gives you feedback on how you explain the topic, what are your strengths and weaknesses. That's why the AI receives explanations, and all these roles are grounded on theoretical, let's say, on theories that are pedagogical. So the efficiency of this role is when you teach others, you improve what you learn, you reinforce learning, and in this case, probably you boost your fluency, right? What you have in this column is the risk, right? That probably the AI will enter in an argumentative loop that will take you away from the main objective, which was to, let's say, learn something, you know? So here the prompt is important for the prompt to be restricted and to have some constraints, right? Like, do not, I don't know, exceed this topic, or you can, let's say, set limits on the AI, right? You can use the AI, or students can use the AI as a teammate, okay? So this will be, he's not going to explain, he's not going to receive explanation, but he's going to collaborate, right? And probably it will do what a teammate does, to provide diverse viewpoints, right? Probably it will help the student brainstorm more ideas, and it won't go beyond his or her knowledge, but probably will ask a lot of questions and suggest a lot, right, in the learning process. So the primary risk is as personality conflicts or social loafing. I think it was offloading, right, when you disconnect. As a coach, okay, the idea is that the AI asks the students a lot of questions that help him think about his own answers, right? So when students use the AI as a coach, the AI will, before arriving at a conclusion, guide the students with a lot of questions that help him increase reflection and self-regulation, right? So you can use it as a coach, especially for writing. This is very useful as a writing coach, because it helps the student begin, for example, to brainstorm ideas and to think a little bit more critically, not so shallowly about some topics, right? Then it can be a tutor giving direct instruction, practice, okay? With the coach, it's indirect, because the coach asks you a lot of questions for you to reflect on, right? But as a tutor, it gives you direct instruction, right? So probably if it is a writing tutor, it will teach you and tell you what to do and assess the outcome. When it acts as a writing coach, it will give you a lot of questions for you to reflect, to reformulate, and to do something different, right? And here, as a mentor, it provides feedback, okay? A mentor is like a mix for me, right? The way I see it, a mix of being a tutor and a coach. Because what a mentor does is to shape you as a professional, as a student, as whatever, as a sportsman, right? So it gives constant feedback, but the idea is that it improves outcome, right? The problem with mentor is that you can accept passively the advice it gives you, and it might give you inaccurate advice. But to me, the way I see it, I would include 7 roles. I wouldn't take this as a tool, because I would take this tool like a way, and these are roles per se, and mentor is a mix. It's very difficult to tell the difference between these two. When you read, if you read the paper by Molik, you will realize that this is more comprehensive than the other two. Okay? But this is basically what the students can do in these seven approaches. Let me show you, right? And these are some of the students' use. Let me show you. Deepen understanding with guidance. Here you can use it as a language tutor. You are an English language tutor. I need to practice my narrative skills. Explain simply how to structure a story using past tenses. Then provide me with one simple story prompt I can use, along with a clear 4-skill task checklist for that story. So you can define the proficiency level. For example, you can say, I am an intermediate B1 English learner, or explain it using simple vocabulary. And this is the outcome, right? Okay, let's break down the story structure. Setting the scene, the main action, a flashback. It explains what a flashback or prior event was. And then the prompt for the story. This is the title. The unopened letter. A woman finds an old letter on her doorstep. It has no return address, but her name is on it. She decides not to open it for one day. What happened in that day, and what does she eventually find? And here you have the 4 skills checklist. Okay, so there are so many uses, we cannot list them all, but I've included here how to practice conversation, to assess reading, okay, to get feedback, and to brainstorm. This is just for research, which we said we are not going to cover in this lesson today. Okay, and I wanted to show you one. I think this is the last video of the 3 I showed you today, to see how our students already, or children, this generation already master the art of interacting with the AI. Let me show you.
Hola, ChatGPT. Pues necesito que me ayudes a responder las preguntas de la fotografía que te acabo de mandar anteriormente. Pues ahí en la parte donde dice justifica tu respuesta, necesito que trates de resumir, pero como un resumen de una niña de 10 años. Y por si acaso, hazlo corto y con palabras que no sean muy inteligentes, porque el profesor ya sabe cómo hablo yo. O sea, hazlo pensando como si... ¡Cállate, Santiago! Perdón, es que mi hermano grita mucho y siempre molesta. Pero bueno, retomando el tema, ahí por si acaso, ignora esa parte. Bueno, por favor, necesito que contestes con palabras como si fuera yo. Y por si acaso, al final, si el maestro me hace una pregunta a mí, hazme una respuesta. Que el profesor piense que leí todo el texto y que eso me garantice, pero que me garantice que ya no me va a preguntar y que yo suene bien inteligente, como si las palabras salieran de mi cabeza. O sea, no muy inteligente, pero sí como si hubiera leído todo el texto, ¿sí? Bueno, gracias, ChatGPT. Eres mi mejor amigo.
Me voy a sacar un 100, she says at the end. She did everything. She provided context. She gave it some limits. She set up constraints. She spoke about the tone, about everything we are learning how to do. She did it, and our students know. They know better, you know. I've got my children. They are 11 and 18. And it's incredible when I mean, you give them a rule and they know how to break it with technology already, because they said, Daddy, this is so easy. Like, how come? And we think as teachers, how is it that they won't cheat? But well, this is the generation we have, right? So listen, is everything okay so far? Is there any comment you would like to make? Anything that called your attention? Or are we doing well?
Yes, I have one opinion or suggestion. Maybe I was thinking that it's maybe also important to provide AI with, I don't know, maybe schools available, gadgets or tools. It happened to me once that I was planning a project, and it provided me with really good and interesting activities for a lab, and the school where I work sadly doesn't have a lab. So I learned in that situation that it's also important to provide with the I don't know, the school background and available tools, you know. And also it happened to me one time that we should include students count, because one time it proposed using Gemini. I'm talking about Gemini. It proposed me, for example, the group works for a class with only 10 members. I don't know. And I was thinking that maybe that's important also in order to have a complete prompt. I don't know if that's okay or.
No, it works. I mean, whatever works for you, because we are at an exploratory level these days, you know. So whatever you find useful for you, the prompts that work for me might not work for you because you have a different, let's say, group of students, or you work at a different institution, or you have different availability in terms of resources. So it's great that if you see that there are some constraints at the school, you can include them in the prompt so that you know which, let's say, aspect of the learning process the AI can. Probably it won't do, or it won't help you with things you can actually do in class, but probably after class or before class or at the beginning of the project or everything, it might help, right? Okay, so listen, we are going to divide you into different groups, and let me see, there was one slide I just wanted to show you. The last one. Oh, here it is in the previous one, right? This is the prompt that we mentioned with Noelia a moment ago. After you review, or after you create your prompt, or you feel you got it ready, you can say, as a prompt engineer, review the following prompt for me, optimize it to make it better, and ask me any questions before proceeding. So if you don't know, or you are not sure about what to create the moment you sit in front of the computer or your phone, you can use this, you know? So it will tell you what should be enhanced, okay? Which part of the prompt, right? And let me see. This is like a diagram that contains all the aspects of the prompt. After the discussions we've had and the slides I've showed you, this is as to the role or persona, as I said. You can say, imagine you are, act as if you were. Listen, actually, these days, there are many researchers writing about prompts as a digital genre, you know, because they found out that it's got like an introduction, which is the context, a node, you know, which is like the task or the activity or the what, and a closure, which is like a conclusion. So there are some rhetorical, let's say, steps within a prompt, you know, and this is being analyzed, and there are papers that are published. So actually, when you analyze the word genre, or what genre is a type of text or linguistic structure that serves a function. And in this case, a prompt, it is a genre, because it serves the function of eliciting an AI model, in this case, something you want, okay? So listen, as to the role, these are some expressions you can use. Here we consider the style or the tone when you mention this during the classroom. The context, okay, this is more comprehensive, the topic, the language focus, the audience, the age, the level of the students' previous knowledge. This is something that Gabriela also mentioned, and other contextual factors. Here we can include what you said about school. And then the teaching strategies. Here we should have included like the language theory, methodology, approach, and then step-by-step instructions, right? And these are the desired learning outcomes. This has to do with the objectives, right? And what, the format, the length, this is the output for you to analyze the output. And these are some techniques, because when you approach a prompt, you can have a zero-shot approach or technique when you don't feed any examples. But for example, with the text, with the test, when we mentioned a moment ago, the assessment, you upload a test and this is what we call a few shot technique, because you give an example for the AI to model on after you give it the prompt, okay? And this is a step-by-step reasoning, right? And well, you include the methodology and the different constraints, like don't do this, okay? Or don't include vocabulary from unit number 2, right? Or avoid, I don't know, using discrete sentences. So this was like a summary of everything we have done today, right? So now, let me show you.
Hola, ChatGPT. Pues necesito.
I will stop sharing. And we will divide you into, let me see, 4 groups, okay? Into 4 groups, because there are 16 students.
We're 19, but we are 3 teachers. So we have.
So 4 groups of 4 people, okay? Yeah. And you can pick up one of the areas that we discussed: planning, assessment. You can take notes of this: planning, assessment, instructional materials, or student use. Any of the 4 skills, any of the 4 dimensions we discussed today, okay? Within instructional material, probably you say, well, I want to create something for reading, for listening, for writing. Within assessment, it can be a unit test, an end-of-year test. You feel free, right? The idea is that you agree on what you want to do. Probably, let's say, if I have a discussion with Noelia, I say, Noelia, I am currently working with the contrast between the present perfect simple and continuous. So let us choose instructional material, and well, let's come up with a prompt for an activity, or for 1 lesson, or for 3 lessons, right? So discuss, agree on what you will choose, and copy the first prompt, and then try with the AI model. I will show you Gemini. Well, Gemini is like, I think it's available for everyone. So that's why I've included this. Give me a second. This one. Okay, I think all of you are familiar with the interface Gemini has, right? So with this one, you open the sidebar, you have a new conversation. It will keep in this section, it will keep all the images and videos that you upload. This is an account that I haven't used Gemini so far, so I'm using this. It's got only 3 chats, you know. And here you can have gems. We will give you a video on this. And NotebookLM has recently been integrated into Google Gemini, so you can create a notebook, and it will give you the feedback for and it will give you the layout and the functions for NotebookLM, right? So when you open this, you can upload a PDF. You can have access to Google Drive to upload files from your folder. You can have notebooks. It will take you to NotebookLM for you to add some of your notebooks, and you can stock photos here as well. You can create images with Nano Banana, and Canvas, this will program something for you. And you will usually have like a side panel here on the right, and the good thing is that it is editable. So if you decide to work on Canvas, when it creates the activity, you will be able to edit that there. So it is advantageous. And here you have, let me show you, deep research. You can do research on a topic. We will see this in the last lesson, lesson number 4. This is a new feature to create music, guided learning, and well, this is new. Okay, this has been added in the past 2 weeks, I guess, right? So if you want to work on Gemini, I think Flavia worked on ChatGPT. You can work on ChatGPT, there's no problem. But I wanted to show you this interface in case some of you don't know, right? So let me stop here. Noe, can you divide them?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So listen, so that it is clear, you choose one of these dimensions and agree on one activity any of you is working on at the moment. That's why I asked at the beginning, is there anyone working with writing? Probably you can go for that, and you can choose assessment or instructional material or lesson plan, right? So see what is more liable for you to work on, choose one, and then copy the first prompt, iterate it, share the experience, and the last prompt you will get with us, right? We give you 20 minutes. Will that work? We'll try with 20 minutes first, right?
Such a useful class today. Yes.
Ah, great.
Yes.
Well, it was the idea that you make the most of it. Okay, we are all back. 19 people again. No one escaped, right? No one has been kidnapped, right? Okay. Well, group number 4 was here first. Noelia is going to share. Right?
Okay. Yes, I'm waiting for the rest to join again. So I share the link one time.
Everyone is here. 19 people
Okay.
have joined meeting again.
Okay. Let's chat in the chat. Would you enter?
Yes.
Yes.
The link is in the chat. You can enter, and according to your group number, you can paste whatever you wrote on the document you were working on.
Okay.
Okay.
But we are sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. We are not allowed to share a PDF or a document, I think. I was trying. When I tried to upload it, we are not allowed.
Okay, we'll fix it.
Okay.
Group number 4.
Okay. I'm up. Okay. I have updated the permissions.
I'm uploading number 4 in a sec.
Okay, number 4 was here first. They were the fast finishers. So once it is uploaded, we can check.
Hold on a sec because I'm creating a PDF with both of them.
Listen, or you can share the screen and then upload it so that we keep record of the activity.
Okay.
You can share the screen and tell us what experience.
Hold on. Where is the prompt? Here. In a sec.
You will be the spokesperson? Okay, they have anointed you as a spokesperson.
No, I prefer them to speak. I share the girls, if you want to.
It says that the bandwidth is low. There we can see. Great.
Yes.
So, Gabriela, you can report on this.
Okay. So we thought this activity will be appropriate for a B2 level, a B2 level lesson for teenagers at an English institute. Okay.
Yes.
And it is related to the movie Inside Out. And like the main idea was to create pre-watching, while watching, and post-watching activities for an allotted time of 80 minutes.
Okay.
And yeah, Marto, si puedes compartir el outcome.
Well, no, but
yeah.
give me
Okay. Yes,
Uh,
yes.
we don't, I mean, from what I see, it says you are a creator of dynamic, engaging lesson plans for the movie Inside Out, focusing on the first 20 minutes. It's an MB2 lesson plan for teenagers at a private English language institute. It's structured into 3 clear stages. The plan must integrate all language skills, provide approximate timing for each activity.
Yes.
How about the learning objectives? What are they supposed to learn with the movie? Or what do you want them to practice or to revise?
Yeah, they were provided, we didn't include them.
Okay.
I mean, because we cut and paste and we modified it.
Because probably based on the outcome, you rearrange this to
Yeah.
Yes.
Conversational
The main idea,
activities.
yes, it was for
main
a
idea was
conversation. Yes, critical
conversation.
thinking, a debate. Yes,
Okay,
that was the
great.
main
Yeah.
objective. Yes.
The problem is that we copied that in the chat and they couldn't copy. So I probably
Specifically,
when I copied,
talking about skills, speaking.
Okay, great.
That
Well,
was
that
the
would be-
main goal.
Teaching
Yes.
skills was the main idea.
Because
Yes.
it says integrate all language skills, grammar, and vocabulary. So if this is the final outcome or the first prompt you came up with?
no,
No, this is the
this
last
was
one.
The
Yes.
last one. Okay, well, so it needs further polishing based on, of course, this
Yes.
is a 20-minute
Yes, 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 yes.
presentation, right? But this is crucial. The outcome is crucial so that you can get a more tailored experience with a pedagogical insight into the practice, you know?
Yes.
So it's going to be peer, let's say, practice, group work, one-to-one face interaction with the teacher. You see, all of this is missing because the objective is missing. You know, once you set up the objective, it will give you some clues, and then you can polish the prompt based on that.
Yes.
Yeah, let's say that the outcome was better than the prompt. Probably.
Okay. Well, who can share the outcome?
Yeah, I share it.
Yes, it's really detailed.
Mm-hmm.
¿Lo puedes compartir, Martu?
Yeah, I am. I don't know if you are seeing it.
Yes.
Setting, duration,
There it is.
material, lesson theme, or emotion.
There
At
is
the
the
end-
age group, the setting.
Because listen, this was a common mismatch in some of the activities throughout the previous module and the first lesson. You know, that you propose a very nice and engaging activity, but sometimes the objectives are not met. When I measure all the activities against the objectives, they say, well, these objectives are not met because probably you have this in mind at the beginning. But if you don't make the adjustments while revising the lesson before handing in, then it can be a bit of a problem, right? So speak fluently about emotions, personality traits, and personal experiences. Listen for gist and specific details. Read short text, right? Very ambitious, very ambitious.
Yeah, in fact, we were talking
Yes.
about that. We were discussing that, and probably when we copied and pasted, and we skipped them.
Yes, we have at
Okay.
least 5 versions of the prompt.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember that if you do this with the Canvas section, you know, if you do this with the Canvas section, you can edit this on
Yes.
Gemini itself, and then you can download it
Yes.
as PDF or upload it as Google document, and you can create something from that as well, right?
Yes. We try to do with Claude, so
Great.
yes.
Well, that's
Yes, this
good.
is Claude. Yes.
Okay. Was the experience positive as a whole?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, completely. Yes.
Okay, because you enrich on somebody else's perspective as well. You see, when you use this, you have to think of Maulic's roles for AI and see what is the one that suits best for this type of activity. Probably,
And of course,
yes.
no, that way. I mean, this is the outcome of now. We have to read and say. I mean, if we like it or
Yes.
not, what we can modify.
Okay,
We can tailor it. Yes.
definitely. Okay, thank you very much, girls. Another
Thank
group.
you.
We started with number 4. Probably we can move on to number 3 now. Quickly, no more than 3-4 minutes. A very fluent spokesperson. From group number 3? Or you don't know what group you were in?
Well, hello, we were in group 3.
Okay.
And well, we are used to work with ChatGPT, and this was like very different from how we worked. We feel more comfortable with that. Actually, we at the end, since we have a little time, one of us, Flavia, asked a prompt on the chat, and this we have to share our results. Okay.
Exactly, yes. Or you can report on what the experience was like. Then I will give you clear instructions on how to upload the activity and share it with the rest.
Okay. So, well, first we were missing given the a specific function, and the first so it was like something that
it was only in connection with a CK grammar. It was only grammar, but we didn't include the function of the language. Okay, so we have to do that again. And yeah.
No, tell us.
Okay. And then Flavia, I think that she decided to try with another AI to see the result, and in order to improve the prompt.
And which one did you try?
And the result was, I think that she tried chat as GPT, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And the result.
You used Gemini at the beginning, and then you tried ChatGPT because you're used to working with that.
Yes.
Yes, it's easier. We are familiar with it.
If you're used
Now
to
you
it,
can see it on Drive.
Okay. Now you've shared it already. Okay.
Yes.
Let me get it. You're group number 3, right?
Yes, I didn't know the number, so I
Me
was
neither.
asking
Yeah, me
Valeria,
neither.
what is our team?
Okay. I think I've entered in team number 3, so let me share this with you. Can you improve the following prompt? You started the easy way, right? The easy way out. I am an EFL instructor teaching beginner level student. We write a unit test on subject pronoun, possessive adjectives, verb be, affirmative, using the same grammar points, vocabulary level, and add more exercises. The topic is introduce ourselves, provide personal information, adjust the format to provide extra practice. And this is the prompt you got. I am an EFL instructor teaching beginner level. Rewrite. Okay, it's a very, let's say, detailed prompt, with the format and everything. And how about the outcome? Did you analyze the outcome?
It gave us a test. We were asking for an assessment for a mock based on a test, asking for more exercises for practice. And the outcome, Valeria has it.
Okay, was it good?
No, I have the Gemini outcome.
Okay.
Not the ChatGPT.
Okay, was it a good experience or not? I mean,
Yes.
do you think the outcome was worth it?
Yes, I think so, because at the beginning we used another test because we were working on assessment, right? So we used a test provided by a book. And then, yes, with your suggestions, because that test was only grammar based, it was focused on grammar, and you told us that we should include the functions of language. So I think that at that moment we provided a better version, a more communicative one, so that the students can use the language items in context.
So use this differentiation we spoke about, right?
Yes, because we want like a mock
Version.
test for the students to continue with their practice, but in a different way.
Okay, great, good. Group number 2. Let me see what we got in group number 2.
Yeah, here. I'll share my screen so I can show you.
Okay.
Well, part of the group, we are Andrea, Susana, Joe, and Emmanuel. So we used Gemini. First, we wrote a long prompt and we asked Gemini to improve it. And well, we obtained this prompt that you can see here. We decided to design material to introduce vocabulary about the World Cup. So we asked to provide some vocabulary. We detailed the context, the type of group, the type of student, sorry. We gave some background, like, well, the students already learned how to use present simple, past simple. And well, we asked specifically for a worksheet, black and white, because most of my colleagues work at public schools, so it is difficult for students to print, or even for teachers actually, to print color worksheets. So we decided black and white. At the beginning, we got the outcome, but we didn't have the picture. So we asked again, please include the picture. And this is what the outcome we got. Well,
Okay,
there's
great.
mistakes.
Yes, it's very nice because it's like, although, listen here, it says let's with double T. These are the things that we have to, let's say, to check, because sometimes when it produces an image with a lot of text, it tends to hallucinate and misspell words, you know?
Yes,
So
yes.
it's better to have the text first and then to create the image separately, unless you iterate until you get the right version, you know?
Yes, all right.
But great.
Yes, we saw that there are some words that are not clear, but well, then I think it was really
That's
good,
why
actually.
that's why I told you that if you do this on Canva, you can edit this.
Yes,
You
yes,
see?
that's right.
Some constraints like avoid misspelling and something, and then it will keep on polishing itself until you get the right outcome. Well, but in 20 minutes, this is an awesome outcome. And the
Yes,
prompt is polished, right? Okay, great. Well, thank you. And the last group, group number 1.
Yeah. I can share the art production.
Okay.
Let me see here.
Okay. Once you're ready.
Well, we started with like a brainstorm with ideas. We decided to design instructional material for first grade students. And the subject was colors, animals, and adjectives. This is our first draft for the prompt. And in the second one, we added these to optimize, to make it better.
Okay,
so
great.
we asked the chat to improve it.
It enlarged this a lot.
Yeah, this is the version given by the chat, and the outcome. Wait, I have in another minute. It's in another.
Okay. I appreciate your faithfulness for staying till the end of the lesson until the last group showed their work, because it's late.
No. Perdón.
No.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Here is the outcome. Yeah, there were 3 classes. Class number 1, and the topics just animal and colors. The type of activity, teacher tip, and the script. So what the teacher has to say, and it's a mix of English and Spanish. That's great. And a sample of a worksheet. Yeah, there are no images, but you have the idea so as to make the activity listen and circle here. This is the second class, and the second topic, mixed animals and numbers. In this case, the activity is listen and number. Again, the tip and the script and the activity. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And for the last class is the grand final. Is an integration, animals, numbers, and colors. Again, we have the type of activity, the teacher tip, the script, and an activity to integrate all the elements.
Okay, good, great. Well, listen, remember that this is just a first approach. Then you can say, develop class number 3 fully in this format, and then you can have like different blocks of answers to put together everything, right? So it's really advantageous to work this way, right? Okay, great. Anything else you would like to say before we finish and eat something or hit the sack, go to bed? No? Okay, well, as I said, I appreciate your faithfulness for staying till the last moment. It's hard for all of us at this time of the week to stay awake, right, and keep on learning. I hope this class has been useful for you, and we will keep on working. We will upload the bibliography and make the tab visible so that you can read the different documents. There are not many documents, I think just 4, and they are very, let's say, friendly, right? And I will also upload the activity for you. This is like the beginning of the activity. So the people you've been working with today, you will have to continue working so that you can upload and share your prompt as a template, right? I will make it clear in the group. Okay? Okay.
Yes, sir, thank
You
you.
can leave. I will stay with Noelia for a second in the room, but you can leave. Thank you very much. Right?
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a nice weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Okay, the same for you. Thank you.
Profe Luis, disculpe, ¿no? Que lo moleste. No se olvide de la constancia, por favor. Le quería pedir en lo posible si puede ser con la fecha de 18 de junio, porque es la fecha en la que me dieron la autorización. ¿Se acuerda que lo hablé justamente?
La fecha de 18 de junio.
No, perdón, con la fecha 17 de junio y en la
la
clase de
nota
19.
y
Claro.
ya la
Sí, sí,
rehago. Ya la rehago y te la mando.
sí, disculpe por molestarlo, profe,
No
¿no? Muchísimas
problema, no,
gracias.
estamos para eso. Estamos para eso.
Muchísimas
Thank you.
gracias. Bye bye.
Bye.
Ay,
See you.
profe, disculpe, yo quería hacer no sé si una sugerencia, pero preguntarle si por ahí las clases podrían volver a ser los sábados.
Sí, las clases están programadas para los sábados en realidad, pero
Mañana es
Susana?
feriado, por eso lo hemos puesto hoy.
Claro,
Mañana,
por
pasa, yo soy de Jujuy, por eso.
Pero mañana es
Sí.
feriado porque mañana es 20 de junio, es un feriado inamovible.
Ay, sí,
Entonces, bueno,
perdón.
en respeto a eso, que es un día feriado y que algunos realmente se lo
Sí,
toman para descansar, por eso lo hemos puesto hoy a la clase.
claro, no,
Este
porque bueno,
tema. Sí,
con Jessy trabajamos, con Jessica está ella también en esta diplomatura y trabajamos en el mismo instituto, o sea, yo estaba en clase saliendo y ella entraba y así que estuvimos ahí medio perdidas las dos.
claro.
Claro. Sí,
Por
nos
eso
vemos
era
un
más que
día.
nada,
Chao, chao.
pero
Está
bueno,
programado
muchas
para eso,
gracias
ya
por
te lo
la
voy a explicar
aclaración.
en el cronograma a ver las clases, la mayoría son los sábados. Si es el viernes, por razón de fuerza mayor, pero está
Sí, no,
empezada.
disculpe, sí,
No hay
yo estoy
problema.
perdidísima con la fecha.
No hay ningún
Ok,
problema.
Cecilia,
Gracias por estar.
have a nice
Gracias,
weekend.
bye.
Bye.
See you.
Nice weekend, bye.
Bye.